The little wooden plug is that wall there. When the ladies of the big ones do the washing, the paper will go out, the spring from next door, go from behind, to next door, push the water along the trough that runs on the back of the sink. The sink is big and plugged out, the sink will fill with water, then the ladies will start washing. So because it's in a treat and drink, while the ladies are washing here, where do you think the men are? That's the opposite, yeah, I'm a cold coffee, a cold beer, watching the women wash. When we first came there many years ago, a lady from the village told us a lot of marriages. When they used to have laundry, and we used to cut off it. And then I sat on foot, watching which would get a clothes clean, give themselves a good wife. Now one of the drives had a better idea about what the men were watching, while the women were washing. It's kind of went good. So, this place has never had a water shortage, it's never had a hose pipe back. Right at this moment in time, IIdne Kreeta have to have 2 years without any rain at all before they would start to have real problems. We have just had 2 winters with hardly any rain or snow, a lot less than we normally get. You're going to get the chance to try some local products. So you're going to try some of this 0.3% low acidity, best in the world olive oil, on some fresh bread, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of salt. You're also going to try some thyme-flavoured honey. This is honey produced from the hives that are around the village, and the bees here feed off the wild thyme that grows here, so the honey that's produced is naturally thyme-flavoured, they don't add it in afterwards. And for you adults, there'll be some raki to try as well. A traditional late Cretan breakfast. I said they use 60 litres of olive oil every year. We're going to see why now and how. So, a bit of bread, a bit of olive oil, a little bit of olive oil, not too much. Just a little. Okay, not too much. Okay, you want a little bit of and you want a little bit of salt. Okay, not too much. A little bit. Okay, and then if you take a napkin and then take a bit, because you'll get it all over if you don't take a napkin as well. Okay, okay, let's pass this around. Don't drink it yet, okay? Because you're going to drink it together. You go? Okay, there you go. Now, if you've got a glass of raki, if you're offered raki in Crete, there's an etiquette to drink it, okay? If you're offered 1 glass, and you know you're going to have 1 glass, which is what you've got now, it gets knocked back like a shot in one go, all in one go, okay? If you know you're going to drink more, you can sip it, knock it back, do it one. So, cheers in Crete is yamas. In a minute, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 yamas. You shout yamas back, tap your glass on the table, which is important, tap your glass on the table, and then you knock it back in one go. The tapping the glass on the table is in remembrance of past drinking partners, people who have died, people who have passed away. It's quite nice, quite cool. So you ready? 1, 2, 3, yamas! Yamas. Yamas. Now, if you buy honey back home, okay, when you've opened it a few times, it all crystallises and goes hard around the top, doesn't it? Do you know why? Because the honey manufacturers, they add sugared water to it, which makes it go further. It's the sugared water that goes hard, not the honey. Honey is a natural product, it never ever goes off. Kept properly, it doesn't go off. 2 years ago, in Egypt, in one of the pyramids, they found a small clay pot that big, totally sealed. When they analysed what was inside, it was honey that was over 2,000 years old and still edible. So guys? Why is this cool? Hello. And the other difference is, carpenter bees don't sting, they bite.
Right.
Guys, you start to look down on the right hand side. I just stopped for 2 minutes. Traffic, so you can see this. Look down the right hand side to the front and right, the bit of the mountain, the hill opposite. There's a little white building with a red roof. Can you all see that down there? Yeah. Okay. Little white building with a red roof. That's one of those churches I told you about.
All right.
See, it's built in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to tell you now why they build them in the middle of nowhere and why they build them high up in the mountains. So you've got your photographs and move on. So, first of all, they build them high up the mountains. And I'm sure you've heard this before, the higher up the mountain you are, the closer to God you are. Secondly, they build them in difficult to get to places. That's because the Greek Orthodox Church, they believe if you're going to worship God, you should put a bit of effort into it. And for days gone by, for the big religious festivals, people would leave their houses early in the morning and actually crawl on their hands and knees to these churches to prove their worth to God. Now there's not many people do that anymore, but they will walk to them, and they can be anything up to 10 kilometres away from where they live. And the other reason they build them in such places, and that one there is a perfect example. 21. Now I've just told you that all Greeks are named after saints, and they are. But within that, they've got a very specific way of naming their children, and it goes like this. So it's sheltered down there, so they won't get across it. Also, it's a very small runway down there. You only get certain size planes, so big planes. This is going to be 2 big runways. They'll get bigger planes and more. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So this is where the goat cheese is made. So. This is normally a 2-man operation, so you've got a fire under here, which is controlled outside, okay? Right. So they build the goats, okay?
Yamas.
Nope.
Yamas. Raji?
No.
Thank you. Yamas.
Another one like that? Yamas. No. Okay.
Raji?
Yamas. Bravo. Guys, try the cheese, it's all there to be eaten. Try the olives as well. There's stones in them, so just be a bit careful. The largest plateau on the island. It's 12 kilometres from one end to the other and 6 kilometres at its widest point. It's also an important agricultural area. They grow all kinds of things on the plateau, with the biggest crop, potatoes. And one day a prophet tells Kronos that one of his children will rise up against him, kill him and steal his crown. Now obviously Kronos didn't like the sound of that, especially since that's exactly what he did to his father, and he didn't want history to repeat itself. So he sat down and had to think about how he could stop it from happening. He came up with a very novel idea. And every time that his wife, who's called Rhea, gave birth to a baby, Kronos would grab hold of that baby and swallow it whole, eat the baby. That way none of the children could ever grow up, ever threaten him, kill him, or steal his crown. Kronos inside the cave. Had the baby go to locals, let them bring the baby up, hid away from Kronos inside the cave. So a few months later, that's what Rhea does. She goes back to the cave, has a little baby boy, hands him over to locals, and they bring him up, hidden away from Kronos, inside the cave. Now as Rhea is walking back down the mountainside, it suddenly dawns on her that Kronos will be waiting for her, expecting her to be carrying a baby. The cheeky Italians have got a path outside of Rome, a stone path, that they claim is the oldest in Europe consistently years. It's about 2,500 years old, that's all. This is nearly 6,000 years old, and people still walk it. You see the vultures, see that they're hardly flapping their wings. They just ride the thermals, they conserve energy, they can stay airborne like that for 7 or 8 hours at a time. Where you see one, you'll always see more. They like to fly around in pairs and large groups. And when these birds mate, they mate for life. Even if one of the pair dies and one that's left doesn't go off and find another mate, that's it, they're done. They're like swans and penguins.
Peaks olema kuskil kilomeeter seda maad. Kuskilt ma lugesin.